Good morning, church. My name is Lori Moreland. I'm on staff at Heights Church, and I'm also a volunteer leader in the junior high ministry. We've been talking about the miracles of Jesus, and I'm really excited to share the one that I have with you today. I'm going to read to you from the account in Luke, which is found in chapter 6, verses 6 through 11. On another Sabbath day, a man with a deformed hand was in the synagogue while Jesus was teaching. The teachers of religious law and Pharisees watched Jesus closely. If he healed the man's hand, they planned to accuse him of working on the Sabbath. But Jesus knew their thoughts. He said to the man with the deformed hand, "Come and stand in front of everyone." So the man came forward. Then Jesus said to his critics, "I have a question for you. Does the law permit good deeds on the Sabbath, or is it a day for doing evil? Is this a day to save life or to destroy it?" He looked around at them one by one, and then he said to the man, "Hold out your hand." So the man held out his hand, and it was restored. At this point, the enemies of Jesus were wild with rage and began to discuss what to do with him. Now, when I read this, I think there are four groups of people that are involved in this scenario. We have the group of people that are at the temple on the Sabbath. They're the attendees. We have the man with the deformed right hand. We have the teachers of the religious laws, and we have the Pharisees, and we have Jesus. And they're all there for a reason. What could that be? Now, the attendees are there probably because that was part of their law to go to the Sabbath, to honor it. But in Luke 4:14, it says, reports about Jesus spread quickly through the whole region. He taught them regularly in their synagogues and was praised by everyone. And I wonder, do the people that are in attendance at the synagogue that day, are they looking for a miracle? Are they there to hear Jesus? Are they there to experience what he might do, to see proof of who he might be? And what about the man with the deformed right hand? We really don't know a lot about him. As a matter of fact, he doesn't ask for a miracle, but I wonder, was he hoping for a miracle? What can we surmise about him? In their culture, it was often believed that if a person had a physical disability, they were being punished for something they did wrong, or possibly they were being punished for sins that their own parents had committed, and they might be subject to the judgment of other people because of this physical disability. And I think that the man with the deformed right hand in this minute in the synagogue at this time was really a pawn for the Pharisees. And then we have the teachers of the religious law and the Pharisees. I think they were there to enforce the law, and they were there to serve retribution. And I look back to some of the accounts that preceded this particular one where they're in the synagogue. And there's the story in Luke chapter 5 when the man is lowered into the room that Jesus is in, and he heals him. And it says, "But the Pharisees and teachers of the religious law said to themselves, 'Who does he think he is? Who does Jesus think he is? That's blasphemy. Only God can forgive sin.'" And then when Jesus meets with Matthew and goes to a banquet with him and his friends, the Jewish Pharisees and leaders of the religious law said, "Why do you eat and drink with such scum?" So they're building a case against Jesus. Here's a little fact for you. In the Torah, there are 613 laws. There's 613 laws that the Jewish people were expected to know and to be able to keep. And that's just the beginning, because the Pharisees were known for adding more and more laws and regulations onto what the people already had. And why was Jesus there? He was there, in his own words, which he quoted from Isaiah another time when he had visited another synagogue, to bring good news to the poor, to proclaim that captives will be released, that the blind will see, that the time of the Lord's favor has come. He is proclaiming that the time of salvation is there. And then Jesus says to his critics, "I have a question for you. Does the law permit good deeds on the Sabbath, or is it a day for doing evil? Is this a day to save life or destroy it?" So I have a challenge for you as you think about this miracle of Jesus when he heals the deformed hand of this man in front of everybody. Put yourself in the place of each of these people. The people that are in the synagogue have been taught their whole life that it's important to follow every single rule. And they've been under oppression, and they're looking for a miracle. They're hoping for a change. They also want to follow those laws because they believe that that is how they can be close to God. And think about the Pharisees. They're losing their foothold. They've been using these laws to gain leverage, to place themselves above everybody else. They like that position of being elevated above others for what they know. And Jesus is shaking up their world. And think about that man with the withered hand. Maybe he believes that he deserves his fate. Maybe he believes that his disability is something that he somehow caused. You know what? I can see a little bit of myself in each of these attendees. Sometimes I put rules above compassion. I like rules. They give me a direction. They give me guidance and boundaries. But sometimes it's easy to elevate the law above having compassion in my heart. Or do you see yourself in the people that are there attending the temple? Are you looking for proof? Is Jesus real? Does he really perform miracles? Or are you like the man with the withered hand, saying, I deserve my fate. It's my fault, and whatever I am dealing with, as my mother would say, you made your bed and you have to sleep in it. Do you feel like you deserve the punishment that you're serving? But what does Jesus want from us? He wants us to have a sincere heart. He wants us to put people and a compassionate heart above the rules and the regulations. He wants us to come before him. He wants to give us eyes to see and a heart to feel. When he was challenged by another group of teachers of the religious law, and they asked him what's the most important commandment, he said, you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. So I challenge you in your time of devotion this morning, as you go forward, think about, where do I fit in each of these scenarios? Ask God to give you eyes to see. Ask him to give you a heart to feel. And if you have a place that you need to confess to God that you have been outside of his will, do that, because he is sure to forgive you, because he loves you, because he wants to set the captives free. I pray, God, that as we go forward today, that you will bless each person that is listening to this devotional. And I pray, God, that they will feel your presence in their life, in the work, in their hearts. Thank you guys for listening, and we look forward to seeing you again.